Okay, so I'm making palm nut soup today. What I have in the pot at the moment is I've got some onions here. I've got around 2 onions and 1 onion that I've already blended as well. I've got around 3 cloves of garlic, but that's optional. I've got some tomatoes here. I got around 3 tomatoes, but the amount of tomatoes that you add is up to you. If you don't use fresh tomatoes, you can use the tomatoes in the can. But the ones that you use in the can, you just need to add that to the soup at a later stage. I've also got some peppers in here, fresh peppers. That's the yellow bit there. The amount of pepper you add is just to your discretion. If you're going to use the grounded pepper chili powder, that's fine as well if you don't have the fresh peppers. I've got some mushrooms in there because I like mushrooms, and I have some smoked fish. If you're going to use fresh fish, then you need to add the fresh fish when the soup starts to bubble. So when the water starts to boil, that's when you add the fresh fish so that it cooks well and doesn't start to flake. You can also add your salt or stock cubes as seasoning. I've got some okra here, frozen one. You can use the fresh ones as well, just that I have some frozen ones in the freezer. And I've got the aubergine eggplant or garden eggs here as well. I'm going to add these at a later stage because if I were to add them in now, they just become too soft and mushy. Okay, so we're just going to let the onions that are in here soften slightly, and the tomatoes also let it soften, and then you find that the skin comes off a little bit. Now the tomato is very soft and the skin's coming off, so I've removed it from the pan and I'm going to blend it. I've also added some canned plum tomatoes to it as well, but if you want to use all fresh ones, that's fine too. And the amount of tomatoes you use is just up to you. Yeah, I'm also adding the pepper, the chili pepper to it. But like I said, if you had the powdered pepper, that's fine too. The onions have also now become softened, so I'm adding that to it, and I'm going to just blend this entire mixture. Yeah. Okay, so after blending the tomato, pepper, onion mixture, just pour it back into the soup and add a little bit more water to it as well. The amount of water you add, extra water you add, is just up to you. It just depends how much volume of soup you want. And just stir this around, but just stir it gently because you don't want to break up too much of the fish. So at this stage, it's now time to add the palm nut cream. So this is palm nut cream. This is a 400-gram tin, so you just add the whole of the palm nut cream and put it into the soup. This soup that I'm making should be able to feed around 6 people, so having the full container is fine. Obviously, if you're haven't got such a big pot, you're not making that much soup, then you add less of the palm nut cream. And if you want the soup to be thick, then you also add more of the palm nut cream. So basically, the amount of palm nut cream you add just depends on the taste and what you like. And so you're just going to stir this gradually. Okay, at this stage, I'm going to leave the soup uncovered because if I were to put the lid on this soup, it will just bubble and overflow. Once the soup starts to boil again, then I'm going to add the okra and the eggplants, garden egg to it. As you can see, because of the palm cream, the color of the soup has changed, come more of a reddish, deep reddish color. Okay, so the soup is bubbling quite nicely now. It's quite vigorous, and so I'm now adding the eggplant, aubergine to it, and also the okra to it as well. So we just leave it like this now. Again, I'm not going to cover the put a lid on it because if I put a lid on it, it will bubble over. So just reduce the temperature, maybe to half the heat setting. And the way you know the soup is cooked is that the actual palm nut oil, you get like an oily layer on top, and that's how you know the soup is cooked. So now that you see that layer of red palm oil over this, it means the soup is actually done now. So the next thing to do is we need to actually scoop off that oil, because you don't actually eat that oil, but the oil that we scoop off, you can use it to make various types of stew, like spinach stew and other types of things. So we're about to now scoop that oil off. Yes, I'm just gently scooping off that oil, the palm oil, and putting it in a separate container. So I use the oil to make other types of stews. Okay, so that's the palm nut soup done. I scooped off all the excess oil layer that was there. Palm nut soup is quite a nice soup. You can serve it with rice. You can serve it with couscous as well. You can serve it with something called gari. Gari is made from cassava, and you just basically put hot water in it, and it absorbs the water, and you just eat it that way. You can also serve it with something called fufu. It's a type of Ghanaian dish made from so that's the type of potato starch dish that you cook on the stove. And also banku is also another type of Ghanaian dish that people have with the palm nut soup. Yeah, so hope you enjoy this.